You gotta do the whole
That might just open it. It may be October, but that just means to me it's week 2 of Halloween. This week we have quite the bewitching episode for you, and so I decided to bring in my resident witch lover, Kiefer. So we came up with the 5 movie and television witches that we all love. So we're gonna start off with number 5. And that is Sabrina, the Teenage Witch. I mean, honestly, who didn't love watching Sabrina? Every freaking afternoon after school, I would watch Sabrina nonstop because like there were so many reruns on television right after school that I would just like gorge myself. And then Salem the cat, the cutest little animatronic puppet real cat thing, because they switched between which ones they used often, which you could completely tell.
Yeah.
But we all loved her, our little blonde little good girl witch. Who just
me.
just like Kiefer, yeah.
I actually did have a black cat one time that I actually named Salem because of that show.
Of course you did. I'm not surprised at all.
But I also liked the Sabrina, the animated series as well.
Which I forgot happened at all until he just showed me something on his phone. And I guarantee if you don't remember it, you probably watched it. And I'm going to put like a little clip here.
And I remember that being on like Saturday mornings. That was sometimes.
It? Toon Disney, wasn't it?
Toon Disney, yep.
That was back when like ABC and Disney were like a big thing, and they used to put like everything that was Disney would be like, or everything that was on ABC Family was on like on Toon Disney, and they just tried to change everything and make it all like super family oriented.
All the good old days. And now, number 4. The Hallowell sisters. Prue, Piper, Phoebe, and Paige.
Even though Prue died when Shannon Doherty decided to be a giant bitch and left the show. But I actually think it got better when Prue left, because I thought she was kind of the weak link. I
She
forget what her
was-
power was.
Telekinesis. That was like
Oh.
my favorite power. And I kind of really loved her. She's like my favorite character, like in the beginning. Because, like, I mean, she was kind of the weakest link at times, but she was the emotional, motherly kind one. And
But
so I
then like
that.
Piper took up like that role and it got better, and then Paige came into the equation and they were like way better. It just got better. I think it got better when
did.
Paige did, because like she's a redhead and I thought it was like really fun.
Well, and also with her character, she was more like, she wanted the powers. Like, she
It's
just
true.
wanted all. The magic world was her
I feel
thing.
like that definitely helped the situation, because then it gave a new element to the story, and I think it opened up a lot more possibilities, which, because she was half white lighter, which they find out, spoilers. So go watch it on Netflix. I'm sorry if I spoiled that for you, but it is worth a watch. You'll not be able to finish it by Halloween, but you'll at least be able to finish it by the end of November, so good luck.
That was like the female equivalent to Supernatural. Even though it was before Supernatural, but...
That's true. It was like women power. I remember my grandma would watch it all the time, and I was like super into it because it was just like these really cool chicks just like beating the fuck out of these like asshole guys, which ended up being demons. But it was always men, usually. I mean, I know there was like the female parts, but like 9 times out of 10 they were like kicking men's asses, and I think that I was always like, I'm a little skeptical about like whether this is like a feminist movement television show, to be honest. But whether it was or wasn't, it was a very good show. Number 3. One of my favorite movies of all time, from the Harry Potter series, Bellatrix Lestrange. Now, pretty much probably the most wicked character in
like
general.
Crazy.
When I think insanity and most like wicked character, I think even more than the Voldemort character, who is literally the worst nemesis of the entire franchise. I feel like Bellatrix really was the reason why the show or the movie became as big as it did, because like her character was like insane. Like it was just the best part of it. Like her crazy laugh, the crazy hair, the crazy shit that she did, the fact that she broke out of Azkaban. I mean, I know that she was helped in breaking out of Azkaban, but the whole like atmosphere
And she tortured her victims.
and what she did to Neville's parents, I mean, she didn't kill them. Oh, they wished they were dead though. She just tortured them until they lost their minds. I mean, come on, like what kind of wicked character does that? Bellatrix Lestrange does. You know what though? It's a character you love to hate.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why I like her. Like I love her because I hate her. Granted, Hermione is a good second. I mean, if you want the good witch, maybe Hermione 1 as everyone called it before the movies came out and they read the books. Guarantee you did. I guarantee you were like, Hermie won. Don't tell me you didn't. We all said Hermie won when we were reading the books before the movies came out. We were all like, oh.
And now for number 2. This witch is another one that you really just love to hate.
It's true.
But for me, I just love her because she's wicked. She was really good, if you know what I mean. And that number 2 is Fiona Good from American Horror Story Coven.
I'm dying because it was so cheesy.
It was.
That was probably one of my more favorite American Horror Stories. Granted, I know a lot of people would disagree because I don't know why. I think they didn't like the whole women power thing, maybe. I don't know.
It was less scary. It was more of like a dark comedy.
It was in some aspects. And I think that was the first edition of Emma Roberts.
Yep.
I almost said Emma Stone. That would have been good. I would watch that. American Horror Story. If you're watching, Emma Stone. Come on. Gorgeous redhead. I'd watch the fuck out of that. A lot of people stopped watching because of the cast was just female dominated. We lost pretty much all the male characters that we saw in the first 2.
But we did add a lot more because we add like Angela Bassett, Kathy Bates, and those
2
characters
big
are
names.
Both on it now. Still.
That's true. And they're both still, they're both on it now, and they've been on it since. I mean, honestly, we did lose Jessica Lange in the long run, which kind of devastates me because she was really the only reason I watched most of them because like her character was always the most like crazy and insane. So I'm a little upset that we lost her in 5.
But back to Fiona Good though.
Oh yeah, the whole reason we were talking about it.
I mean, she was like the Grand Supreme. She passed 7 wonders. She had like all the powers, but she used them for the wrong reasons, and I loved it. Like, she was very narcissistic, off traveling the world, and just doing what she could with her power, just ruling.
That's true. I probably would do the same. Let's be honest.
I would definitely do that.
Let's be honest. I would probably be the worst Supreme. I mean, if I had magical powers at all, I'd probably be the worst person in the world. And then finally, numero 1. Mary, Sarah, and Winifred Sanderson from Hocus Pocus. Probably my favorite movie of all time, at least Halloween based. Like, I don't know a Halloween where I didn't watch that movie,
right.
Like, growing up, honestly.
That was me and my grandma constantly watching it on TV or on VHS and now DVD.
I don't even look at Bette Midler without seeing Winifred Sanderson. I don't even hear like Kathy Najimy's voice on King of the Hill without hearing Mary Sanderson. And I don't even remotely even see like, was her Carrie from Sex and the City? I don't see her. I see Sarah Sanderson from Hocus Pocus. Like, that is literally their iconic role, and I love it so much. Like, the movie, the song that they sing, Bette Midler and all of them, they're just singing, like, I Put a Spell on You. I mean, honestly, you did. You put a spell on my heart, and I'm always going to watch you.
That's how we were actually prepared for October this year, by watching that at the end of September.
We did. I mean, it was like last day of September, I think we watched it. So that's how we kicked October in this year. It was one of my favorite movies, Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, shame on you. Now, since Kiefer pretty much is in love with every witch that ever steps on screen, he has a list of honorees to at least mention. And one of them is Ursula the Sea Witch from The Little Mermaid.
Another one of my favorites is Willow Rosenberg from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I mean, she was like the little innocent girl at first, but then when the big bad, really? Yes.
When push came to shove, she fucked you up. And obviously, the Wicked Witch of the West. I mean, she probably would have been on here, but like, I had so many other favorites, and I think like, she may be iconic, but like,
she was one of the originals.
She was one of the originals, and I feel like she should have been on my list, yes, but I wanted to stay true to things that we both liked. And as much as I liked it, I don't love The Wizard of Oz. I really only loved The Wicked Witch of the West. Like, the movie itself, I was just but The Wicked Witch of the West was the only reason to watch the movie.
Well, see, I was a mixture of her and Glinda. I love both.
Oh, I kind of like Glinda, yeah. She wasn't in it that much, though, but...
No.
Another one is Samantha and Andorra from Bewitched. Like, I cannot think of another... Oh, yeah, there you go. I can't think of another, like, classic duo. It was such a funny show, and I think everyone kind of, like, grew up with that. Like, even my parents grew up with that show. Like, everyone knew Samantha from Bewitched, so she's definitely a great honoree for this witch segment.
Another one of my favorites is Nancy from The Craft. I mean, she's almost, like, the original Bellatrix Lestrange from like the
She
movies.
does get a little weird at
because
the
she
end.
got crazy.
She fucked.
She was
yeah.
psychotic.
She went cray.
Yeah. I mean, her life was kind of like depressing at times, and I think that's what kind of like clicked that craziness.
Yeah.
But
it was worth watching.
right, if you want some like gothy grunge 90s movie to watch, The Craft. Definitely The Craft.
And another movie from our childhood, I'm sure that you all seen it, or at least should have seen it, is Halloween Town. So we couldn't just pick one. So we picked both Marnie and Aggie Cromwell. I mean, that movie, rewatching it, the graphics are like really ridiculous and it's really hokey, but the movie itself is still really good.
I mean, it's very like family oriented, and that's what's really kind of like the good message, like classic Disney movies, like just that.
Plus, like the grandma, like who doesn't wish that their grandma was a witch? I mean,
I do.
I wish my grandma was a witch. I'm still praying for the day that she like opens up and like comes out of the closet as a witch.
I think my grandma has multiple times to me. She still tries to do that. She just tells me, I'm a witch. I just wave my fingers and bam, things happen.
So I hope you enjoyed this wicked video, and remember, we have social media. You can find that in the description below. And if you want to follow my other channel, What's It To You Productions, it's over there.
And don't forget to comment your favorite witch.
So stay spellbound, my little witchies.